You're staring at a challenge that seems impossible. Your heart's racing, your mind's spinning, and everything in you wants to quit. Maybe it's a presentation that could make or break your career. Maybe it's the final set in your workout when your muscles are screaming. Or maybe it's that creative project you've been avoiding because failure feels inevitable. But what if I told you that in that exact moment, right when your body wants to flee and your mind wants to shut down, your brain is actually deciding whether you'll become unstoppable or stay stuck forever? Here's what's happening in those crucial seconds. Your anterior cingulate cortex is firing. Your prefrontal networks are either engaging or disengaging. And your stress response is either becoming your superpower or your kryptonite. This isn't motivational fluff. This is measurable, observable brain activity that researchers can literally see on fMRI scans. The crazy part? Most people have no idea this internal battle is even happening. They think peak performance is about having more willpower, more talent, or just being built differently. But neuroscience has revealed something that changes everything. Peak performance is actually about having a brain that's wired to interpret challenges as opportunities rather than threats. Think about the last time you watched an elite athlete choke under pressure versus someone who seemed to thrive when the stakes were highest. Same external situation, completely different neural responses. One brain interpreted the moment as dangerous, flooding the system with anxiety and shutting down higher-order thinking. The other brain saw the exact same pressure as fuel, sharpening focus and unleashing capabilities that weren't even there during practice. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Peak performance isn't just about pushing harder or wanting it more. It's literally about rewiring your brain. And science has finally cracked the code. For decades, we thought you were either born with it or you weren't. Either you had the right genes, the right personality, the right circumstances, or tough luck. But neuroplasticity research has completely shattered that myth. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on your thoughts, beliefs, and experiences. Every single day, you're literally sculpting the neural pathways that will determine how you respond to challenges, setbacks, and opportunities. The most successful people aren't just more motivated. They've developed what neuroscientists call adaptive neural patterns. Their brains have learned to process stress, failure, and uncertainty in ways that actually enhance performance rather than sabotage it. Let me start with something that blew my mind when I first learned about it. Your brain has this incredible ability called neuroplasticity. Basically, it can physically rewire itself based on how you think and what you believe. But here's where it gets crazy. People with what researchers call a growth mindset actually have different brain activation patterns than those with a fixed mindset. When someone with a growth mindset makes a mistake, their anterior cingulate cortex lights up like a Christmas tree. This is your brain's error detection system, and instead of shutting down, it's essentially saying, "Pay attention. There's something here to learn." Meanwhile, the fixed mindset brain? It barely registers the error at all. Think about that for a second. Two people make the same mistake, but their brains are having completely different conversations about it. One brain is mining for gold, looking for the lesson, the opportunity to improve. The other is basically hitting the snooze button on growth. But wait, there's more. The brains of peak performers show enhanced activity in something called the cortico-striatal circuit. Sounds fancy, right? This network connects your prefrontal cortex, your brain's CEO, with deeper structures involved in motivation and reward processing. When this circuit is firing on all cylinders, you get this beautiful combination: crystal clear decision-making, laser focus, and an almost magnetic pull toward your goals. It's like having a high-performance engine under the hood of your mind. And here's the kicker. This isn't something you're born with or without. This network gets stronger every time you choose effort over ease, every time you reframe a setback as a setup for a comeback. Now let's talk about something that might surprise you. Stress. We've been told stress is the enemy, right? Wrong. Peak performers have discovered something neuroscience calls the stress is enhancing mindset. When you believe stress is enhancing rather than debilitating, your brain literally processes stressful situations differently. Your prefrontal cortex, that CEO I mentioned, stays online and actually uses the stress response to sharpen your focus and boost your performance. It's like turning stress from kryptonite into rocket fuel. But if you believe stress is harmful, your brain interprets the same physiological arousal as a threat, flooding your system with anxiety and making peak performance nearly impossible. Here's where things get really sci-fi cool. We're now living in an age where you can literally watch your brain change in real time. Wearable EEG devices can track your attention levels, stress responses, and cognitive load as you're actually performing. Imagine having a dashboard for your mind, knowing exactly when you're in the zone, when you're about to burn out, and what specific mental state produces your best work. Some athletes are already using this technology to optimize their training and competition performance, but you don't need fancy gadgets to start hacking your brain. The most powerful neurotechnology is actually already between your ears. One of the most validated ways to upgrade your brain is through mindfulness training. And no, I'm not talking about sitting cross-legged chanting Om, although if that's your thing, cool. Mindfulness literally rewires three critical brain networks: your default mode network, your attention network, and your salience network. Translation: you become better at staying focused, less likely to get lost in mental chatter, and more skilled at noticing what actually matters in any given moment. The research shows that just 8 weeks of mindfulness practice can increase the thickness of brain regions associated with attention and emotional regulation. Your brain is essentially building more muscle in the areas that matter most for peak performance. Here's something that'll flip your script. Elite performers have a completely different relationship with failure. While most people's brains treat failure as something to avoid, peak performers' brains have learned to see it as data. When you make a mistake, your brain releases what neuroscientists call an error-related negativity, basically a neural alarm bell. But here's the magic. If you've trained your brain to see errors as learning opportunities, this same signal becomes a catalyst for improvement rather than a reason to quit. It's like your brain develops a different operating system, one that runs on curiosity instead of fear. But peak performance isn't just about grinding harder. Your brain needs recovery to consolidate new learning and maintain high-level function. During sleep, your brain essentially takes out the trash, clearing metabolic waste and strengthening the neural connections formed during the day. Elite performers understand that rest isn't the opposite of performance, it's the foundation of it. Your brain literally cannot sustain peak performance without adequate recovery. It's not weakness, it's neurobiology. Want to know a secret? Your brain is constantly forming habits whether you're aware of it or not. But here's what's fascinating. Habits that support peak performance create different neural pathways than habits that hold you back. When you repeat performance-enhancing behaviors consistently, they literally become automatic. Your brain shifts these actions from the prefrontal cortex, which requires conscious effort, to the basal ganglia, where they run on autopilot. This frees up mental energy for higher-level thinking and decision-making. The key is being intentional about which habits you're installing. Every repeated behavior is essentially programming your brain's operating system. Here's something most performance advice completely misses. Your brain is fundamentally social. The same neural circuits involved in physical pain light up when you experience social rejection or disconnection. Peak performers understand that isolation is performance kryptonite. Having strong social connections and feeling part of something bigger than yourself isn't just nice to have, it's neurologically necessary for sustained high performance. Your brain literally performs better when it feels connected and supported. It's not soft science, it's hard neurobiology. Here's where the future gets really exciting. We're moving toward truly personalized performance optimization. Using AI and machine learning, we can now analyze individual neural patterns and create customized training protocols. Some people's brains respond better to visual feedback, others to auditory cues. Some perform best with high challenge and high support, others need a different recipe. The one-size-fits-all approach to peak performance is becoming obsolete. So what does this all mean for you? Your brain isn't fixed. Your current performance level isn't your ceiling. Every day, you're literally sculpting your neural architecture through your choices, beliefs, and actions. The question isn't whether you can develop a peak performance mindset. Neuroscience has proven that you can. The question is, are you ready to do the work? Because here's the truth. Developing a peak performance mindset isn't about becoming a different person. It's about becoming more of who you already are, but with a brain that's optimized to help you get there. Your next level of performance is waiting. Your brain is ready to build it. The only question left is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? The science is clear. The path is proven. Your peak performance mindset starts now.